Hello, everyone. I'm Mandy Fletcher from Virginia State University Small Farm Outreach Program, Regional Program Assistant for the Southwest Virginia. My territory covers 9 counties and 2 cities. Sheep and goats can be a good source of additional income for farmers. They are versatile animals, also called small ruminants, and can be valuable and enjoyable additions to many farms. Sheep and goats are raised mainly for the purposes of meat, milk, and fiber. Goats are a valuable resource for brush control, and sheep can also help serve this purpose. There are many things to consider before adding sheep and goats to your farm. It is important to analyze your farm goals. Keep in mind that raising small ruminants is not a get-rich-quick enterprise. Have you developed a farm business plan? Doing so is invaluable, and you can reach out to your small farm program assistant, mentor, or extension agent for help with this. Also, give careful consideration and research to what breed of sheep or goat is suitable for your farming operation and goals. So if you're thinking of market lamb or kid, there are 2 main types, commodity and non-traditional, or direct to consumer and ethnic. If you are considering farmers market or the restaurant business, know your customer and what they want. If you're considering a wool sheep production, join a local wool pool group to bale wool and sell with others' product, or find a niche market with unique handmade yarns or felts. Do your research and locate a shearer who will come to your farm. If you're interested in a dairy operation, consider labor and investment and visit existing operations. And if you're considering breeding stock or registered animals, keep in mind that you will want to grow and keep a good reputation, which often means selling your best lambs and kids. Know that record keeping and paperwork are ongoing commitments with registered and good commercial seed stock operations. Let's compare sheep versus goats. Sheep are grazers. They graze close to the ground on pasture and prefer to eat broadleaf plants and grasses grown in the pasture. They have a strong flocking instinct. They grow faster and reach mature weight sooner, and they're more diverse in numbers, more readily available. On the other hand, goats are browsers and they enjoy the brushy land where there's lots of vegetation from brushy plants and even weeds. They are curious and independent, often by themselves, and they are more apt to be hanging out alone. They grow more slowly, and there are fewer of those in diversity. There are several advantages to raising sheep and goats. One being pasture improvement. They distribute nutrients through their manure, creating less soil compaction than other livestock. Their stocking rate is 4 to 5 user goats, and that is equivalent to 1 cow, making it ideal for small farm operations. They are smaller and easier to handle than other larger livestock breeds. Their reproductive efficiency is a 5-month gestation compared to a 9 to 11 months for other livestock. They often have twins or multiple births, increasing profits. The family togetherness and quality time is increased by raising sheep and goats, and there's a strong niche demand for their products. As with any other endeavor, there are challenges with raising sheep and goats. One is that they require more labor and care than cattle and other livestock. Another is some lack of knowledge in raising sheep and goats. Another is fencing. Fencing is one of the most important considerations to have in place before getting your sheep and goats. The predator concerns are always around, as well as the parasites. In considering time investment and care required for raising sheep and goats, you must realize that you need to check the flock or herd daily. Look for signs of problems and respond quickly. Sheep tend to not show they are sick until they're very sick. Walk your pastures and look closely for visual signs of illness. Pasture management results in optimal health and reduces parasite stresses. So we need to monitor our grazing height, which we will discuss later on. Routine vaccinations and disease prevention protocols, which usually occurs twice per year or more often, and this is one you'll consult your veterinarian on. A good working relationship with your local veterinarian is vital to help with prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of disease. Trimming hooves. You'll want to keep your hoofs trimmed on your sheep and goats, and that helps keep them at optimal health, as well as preventing foot problems that can be costly and hard to deal with for years ahead. Just like any other farming operation, there will be pregnancy and birthing complications that require extra time and expense. Not every lamb or kid will survive, even with the best care possible. Consider how much time you have to invest in raising your animals, especially if you work another job off the farm. Orphan lambs that require bottle feeding require extra time. Do your homework and gain extra knowledge as much as possible. Don't trust everything on social media sites or YouTube videos. There are lots of other reputable sources of information, such as sheep and goat publications, extension resources, educational workshops offered, or sheep and goat club events, and visiting small ruminant research facilities or farm visits with other producers or verified breeders to see how they're operating. And start small. It's easier to grow than it is to downsize. So 5 to 20 animals is a suggested number. Believe me from experience, it's easier to grow than to downsize. Have a good solid business plan. This is invaluable. Work your budgets out on paper, and beginning producers that prepare a business plan are 10 to 20 times more profitable than those who don't. There's evidence that supports that. Having a business plan is often needed to apply for loans and grant funding as well. Always select healthy animals that are alert, bright-eyed, stay with the flock or herd, and eat well. And know the signs of your poor doers. The signs of illness could include weak eyes, dirty tails, ones not eating feed or drinking water, and lambs or kids not playing. Have a planned breeding program. The usual breeding season is August to January, so fall lambing and kidding is normally between August to November. Spring lambing or kidding is usually between the months of January to April or May. Remember, gestation is around 5 months. So you can help plan for better marketing opportunities by looking at your breeding program. It is also best not to leave rams and bucks in with your ewes or nannies year-round. Plan for prime market opportunities again to sell your group of lambs or kids, which is going to be economically beneficial for your operation. And choose good breeding males, the best ram or buck that you can afford. Cheaper is not always better if you're buying inferior or unhealthy stock. The male has a greater influence on performance because his offspring could remain in the flock for years to come. So this also helps increase genetic improvement. Expect to get 5 years or more of service from a ewe or a doe. If breeding replacement ewes or does, you must have an unrelated ram or buck. Proper fencing is necessary for sheep and goat production. It is wise to plan ahead for determining and installing adequate fencing so the pastures in operation will be ready for the arrival or addition of your flock or herd. Woven wire makes an ideal perimeter boundary fence. It works wonderful for sheep, but goats can become entangled with their horns. High tensile electric fence is an option. A lot of producers use a 5 or 6 strand high tensile fence with electrified wires, which would be the first, third, and top wires to be most effective. Also, electric netting or portable fence is an option for those that rotational graze or need a smaller section of their boundary fenced or their interior cross fence. Check fences regularly and patch appropriately. Livestock guardian animals complement good fence, so I still recommend having them within your fencing. Predators and protectors. Predators can include coyotes, raptor birds such as hawks or eagles, domestic dogs, bear, fox, etc. Electric fencing has been shown to help discourage coyotes and stray dogs, and also electric netting has been shown to be effective. I suggest a livestock guardian dog such as the Great Pyrenees, Anatolian Shepherd, Maremma, Akbash, or another breed that has been raised with sheep and goats. Each of them have a different temperament and a job in their pasture, so most take their job seriously. They love to stay with the sheep and goats, so the bonding scenario can work out very well. I have heard of issues if you raise them as more of a pet by bringing them into your yard or near their house. So the rule of thumb is that the livestock guardian dog is to stay with the sheep or goat at all times. Donkeys are another option for a protector for livestock guardian protection, and you will want to get either a gelding or a jenny to go in the pastures with your sheep or goats. They have found that intact males are more aggressive. Llamas. If you get a llama, please get a neutered male or female. Those have worked best in farming operations for flocks and herds. The USDA APHIS Wildlife Service Program serves livestock producers, has a program for those suffering from predation on livestock, and they provide technical assistance, direct control, and education for you. Parasites are one of the most frequent battles that sheep and goat producers face. Some signs of possible parasitism include a dirty tail, a thin animal, anemia of the eyelids, which is done by a FEMACHA check. Visit wormex.info for the online training and more information about that, as shown in the bottom right picture. Select strong animals and provide good management to them. Your goal is to deworm less than 3 times per year and only deworm animals that need it. So part of a good management strategy is rotational grazing. That means having multiple pastures or paddocks to rotate animals through to utilize forages. And it is also helpful economically to use a combination of permanent and portable fencing to subdivide pastures, and do not overgraze. Most parasite larvae are found in the first 2 inches of growth. Keep the appropriate number of head of animals on your pasture, also called appropriate stocking rate. Parasite loads can be reduced when you can graze different species together, such as sheep and cattle, and you can follow one species with another in your rotation. Move sheep and goats to a fresh pasture when forage height is around 2 to 3 inches. Allow your pastures appropriate rest periods of grazing. This not only helps manage parasite loads, it promotes healthy plant life and protects soil. Virginia State University and College of Ag, as well as the Extension Office, offers resources for grazing, as well as the Natural Resource Conservation Service, or NRCS, which offers a grazing school on a yearly basis. Nutrition requirements for sheep and goats include, but are not limited to, water, energy, protein, minerals, and vitamins. These listed items are necessities in the daily diets of sheep and goats. These come from a variety of sources and must be balanced. Water, the most important nutrient, it is often overlooked. A clean water supply should always be available in each pasture. Energy, protein, and vitamins come from forages such as hay and grain sources and provide a variety of diverse forages. Read feed labels. Be consistent with feeding times and especially your amounts of feed. Switching feeds slowly is the key to preventing stomach upset. Appropriate mineral supplementation, specially designed and labeled for sheep and goats, should be provided free choice and year-round. This will help prevent low calcium during pregnancy and other issues. Portable mineral feeders work well for any size operation. Sheep and goats need to maintain proper body condition. You don't want your animals too fat or too thin. Provide adequate nutrition for every class of animal at every stage of production. Sheep are sensitive to copper, so keep that in mind when providing mineral and feeds. Goats are not as sensitive. Always look at the labels or ask when in doubt. Good shelter is important to protect from harsh weather conditions. It is ideal to have a three-sided shelter, open on the side away from prevailing winds and rain. You don't need anything fancy though. A completely closed barn accumulates ammonia and could lead to respiratory diseases. So good ventilation is key to decreasing those chance for disease. It is also helpful to have hay and feed storage near the barn or shed, or ideally inside the structure, and at least a couple of smaller pens for lambing or kidding. This allows bonding with the mother and baby and monitoring the milk supply, especially when a ewe or doe has multiple births. It's also good to practice good sanitation and have clean bedding at all times. Sheep and goat operations need a variety of equipment. Some basic equipment includes feeders, water tubs or watering systems, and healthcare equipment. Feeders should be used to prevent animals from eating off the ground. Well-designed feeders will also prevent animals from wasting feed by spilling it onto the ground. When sheep or goats forage from the ground, they are more likely to develop health problems, such as parasite infections. Handling equipment makes for a lower stress experience for the animal and the human and saves time. Scales are used to monitor animal growth performance, such as farmers can measure birth weights, weaning weights, and market-ready weights, among other reasons to weigh. A scale can be used to calculate the correct medication treatments and dewormer treatments. Especially for beginning operations with a small flock or herd, it is wise to keep it simple and cost-effective. Homemade catch pens and feed areas make a sufficient setup for needed management tasks, such as sorting groups of ewes and does that are close to birthing, vaccinating, deworming, and selecting animals that are ready for market. As your flock or herd grows, you can upgrade to a nice working facility, but for small starter flocks, a working facility can be as simple as a small pen that you crowd with animals and work the group. It is best to have a paint stick or spray paint ready to mark vaccinated animals, sick animals, animals who need to be monitored, and mothers who have triplets or multiple births, just to name a few examples. I cannot strongly emphasize the importance of having a small ruminant kit or toolbox on hand in the barn or at your farm truck that is organized and fully stocked with all the basics. Virginia State University College of Ag team put together a nice backpack educational kit for extension staff and others to demonstrate to sheep and goat producers. I recommend a separate lambing and kidding supply toolbox kit as well. Keeping good records is a win-win for all operations, both small, large, and everything in between. Ear tags come in a variety of shapes, sizes, colors, and numerical sequence. And scrapie is a disease similar to mad cow disease that can be spread to humans in tainted meat. The USDA APHIS is over the National Scrapie Program and tests animals yearly. In 2022, there were no positive scrapie animals, so the program continues to be a success. New participants in the scrapie program can contact USDA to receive 100 free plastic tags while funding is available. So contact information can be found in the resources that accompany this presentation. It is important to have a health record book or set up an app on your phone or device that keeps good records of health conditions and treatments, such as your vaccinations, medical information such as medication and antibiotic treatments, your deworming schedule, hoof care schedule, veterinary care, and lambing kidding records. Please see the video of a new beginning farmer here in Southwest Virginia. She began her small hair sheep operation in 2021 when she purchased 8 ewes and 2 rams that she's now grazing on her 25 acres. She has participated in the Small Farm Outreach Program, receiving one-on-one assistance from her regional program assistant throughout the way. She has also received state cost-share funding for fencing and automatic livestock watering systems or units through the VAX program and working with her local soil and water conservation district. She has also completed her first lambing season with several beautiful and happy lambs running around. Her accomplishments are impressive. Sources and informational resources for you to have. Today's information came mainly from the NCAT ATTRA publication, An Illustrated Guide to Sheep and Goat Production, and the Sheep and Goats Frequently Asked Questions by Linda Coffey from NCAT, as well as the American Consortium for Small Ruminant Parasite Control, or wormex.info, Penn State Extension publication, So You Want to Raise Sheep or Goats, and VSU College of Agriculture from Dr. Dahlia O'Brien's presentation on starting a small ruminant meat enterprise. For other sources, visit Virginia State University Small Ruminant page at the listed website, as well as Virginia Tech Sheep Extension and Outreach at that website, and the Virginia Sheep Producers Association, Maryland Small Ruminant page, the American Sheep Industry site, and the American Goat Federation. Thank you for tuning in to today's program on raising sheep and goats. My contact information is listed on this slide. You may reach me by email at afletcher@vsu.edu or the number provided. Thank you.